So we are now recording. It's not a Zoom recording, so you're not going to get the warning. But we're starting to delve into content where we'd want people who are not able to join us live to be able to hear what's going on. So
I got a notice in the mail that we are voting at Nations Ford High School this year.
yes, and that appears to be true. The fire station is out, at least for this year. And it's going to be somewhere over at Nations Ford. That's a big campus. Has anybody else driven by their campus?
I've driven by it.
I've been in the building, and it is huge.
Yep. And they didn't say where in the campus it's going to be. So what with my...
It'll probably be close to a parking lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it'll be by a parking lot. But,
yeah, and probably not too far into the school.
Yep. But
they'll probably have signs up.
Well,
oh, yeah.
With my tongue somewhat in my cheek, I said that if there'll probably be signs up, but if the MAGA Republicans have taken over the Board of Elections, like I'm afraid they're trying to do, there'll be one sign and it'll point the wrong direction.
Yeah, you got that right.
So yeah, to do a little quick review, the election day is November 7th, the usual second or first Tuesday, as long as it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday. And it's at Nations Ford High School, which if you head out of Carolina Orchards on Springfield, Highway 460.
Make a left.
Yeah, make a left, cross the railroad tracks. And there's the first stoplight is
with the sign that says "Go Falcons."
Yeah, so turn left, and the big sprawling high school campus with several parking lots is going to be on your left. So at that point, watch for the signs, and probably be in good shape. There is early voting, and it started yesterday, and it is Monday through Friday this week, and Monday through Friday next week. And it is at the government center over in the town of York, which means it's only during the day. That doesn't extend until the evening. So it says 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. And it's closed on the weekend, so there's no weekend early voting.
You get the list of who to vote for?
Say that again?
Do you have a list of who is pro-democratic or the better people to vote for?
Well, there's only two people. There's only two offices that are up for election, unless you want to write in candidates for the other offices. I mean,
I don't know who anyone is. So if you tell me who the better one is, that's the one I'll vote for.
Yeah.
Well, there's on Vote 411. There's only one person who has even bothered to answer League of Women Voters questions. And that's Miss Corby.
Yeah. Lindsay Kirby.
Who you vote for then?
Yeah. So it's going to be, let me put myself full screen and you can see. This is Lindsay Kirby. And I did an interview with her earlier today and recorded it, and I put it on our YouTube channel. I was thinking I might be able to edit it down to something I could play for you guys here, but it's about 25 minutes, and that's longer than I want to sit here and play it here. So I will point you to our YouTube channel to go see that if you're interested. Let me show you what that looks like.
What is she running for? Which book?
It's she's running for the open, the at-large, the at-large seat. Yeah, so one seat that's up for election is the at-large seat. The other one.
What do they do?
They're just a town council member. They're just not representing any one ward. So this is the interview that I did. Looks like this. I'm on the Zoom line with Lindsay Kirby. welcome to the Little Carolina Orchards Americans for Democracy and Equality meeting. An early recording from Zoom because you're not going to be available to talk to us tonight. You're going to be doing what, a forum someplace?
Correct. A forum against my opponent at the YMCA, talking about, why I'm running and what my plan is if I win.
Okay, so that's Lindsay Kirby, and the reason
Okay,
she's
so
not.
how do we get there?
How do you get where to early vote?
Yeah,
No,
to
to
the
YouTube.
Kirby interview.
Oh, it's at the YMCA.
No, I don't.
The
I want to
recording
know.
How do you
on
get?
YouTube.
How do you get to the YouTube? I will send a link, but
Thank you.
but the YouTube channel on YouTube is youtube.com/ the little @ Orchards ADE, because I didn't have room for Carolina Orchards Americans for Democracy and Equality. So it's Orchards ADE.
So it's YouTube.
youtube.com/ and
Orchards ADE.
yeah, well,
Okay.
/ and you need to put in the @
At Orchards ADE. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
and we have
And who's she running against?
she's running against Lisa. Okay, I got it here. I got it nearby. Yeah, Lisa Cook. Lisa's the incumbent. She's been our representative. Well, she's been the representative. It's not, but yeah, she's been the at-large, one of the two at-large council members.
So she's the one of them that voted for the panel.
I'm not familiar with it. Does anybody know?
This is town council.
Oh, it's
this is-
town council.
Jeez, I lost you.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your picture's up there. We can see you. So, this is Fort Mill Town Council. And that's all that's on the ballot. The mayor election, the at-large, my brain is not working tonight. The at-large council member and two wards are also up for election, but they don't have any opponents. So Ward 2, Ronnie Helms, and Ward 4, Chris Moody, there's no opponents for them.
Can we vote for different wards?
Yes, interestingly enough.
Oh,
As it turns out, every ward is an at-large election elected by the entire town.
so do the candidates have to live in the ward that they're representing?
I think so. I can't tell you for sure that that's the case, but I think so.
What do we?
So in theory, they're representing a specific ward,
Yeah.
but everybody in town gets to vote for the representative in that ward, and everybody in town gets to vote for the representative in our ward. We're in Ward 3, and
Jan, it's a Southern thing.
it's
Yeah.
it's a racist thing.
Yeah,
It's a
that's for sure.
best we can tell. It's a leftover, a holdover from Reconstruction, when back then Fort Mill was very small, and one of the wards apparently had a minority population, and they could have elected. Oh, now this would have been terrible. They could have elected a black person onto the
Oh,
town
my.
council. Well, we can't have
Oh.
that.
Let me clutch my pearls.
Yeah, we can't have that. So in order to avoid that, we have the whole town vote for the representative from each ward. And that way the minorities can never be big enough in any one ward to elect a minority candidate, or to elect even, doesn't matter.
Even a
elect someone,
Democrat.
elect someone to represent their
Yeah.
interests.
Why has that never been changed? I can't believe that people wouldn't clamor to have that change.
To the south.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shirley.
It's a southern thing.
I mean, we may not be in the middle of Reconstruction, but we're still in the middle of a very red county in the South.
Jim Crow, yeah.
We're
Jim
still in
Crow
Yeah,
and red.
if it's always been done that way, then that's the way it should be done.
Yeah. Matt Villardebo tried to challenge them about that one time at town council, and he got a whole lot of gobbledygook back. They can come up with reasons, but they can't come up with any real reasons.
Okay, so what do we know about these two candidates that are running against each other for the town council seat?
Well, Lisa Cook has been on the council for a long time. I don't know very much about her specifically. If you look at her Facebook page, it's full of promotion and rah-rah about the town. So she's very positive about the town. But I don't really know anything about her specifically, and she doesn't have campaign material out saying what she would do. So Lindsay Kirby, who is the independent opponent, is running very hard. What I can tell you about Lindsay is that she has been endorsed, well, not endorsed, but she has a lot of the folks in the organization called CAPE, the education and library
good.
folks. They like her candidacy, but the Democratic Party doesn't do any endorsements in these municipal races because the races are nonpartisan.
Right.
And frankly, if a Democratic group of any significance endorses a candidate anywhere but in the bluest sections of Rock Hill, if the Democratic Party makes the endorsement, that's a kiss of death.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, because that tells the Republicans who to vote against.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well, they should endorse a Republican then.
well, I think the Republicans are going to see through that. But so Lindsay is running very nonpartisan campaign. She's not running as a Democrat, as a Republican. And frankly, the Fort Mill Town Council doesn't have very much partisanship in terms of what they do. There aren't a lot of issues that come up that call for partisanship. It's all, do we approve rezoning for a little commercial area on this corner of a neighborhood? Do we require street improvements here? Things like that. If you're to watch the town council meetings, and they're all on YouTube, you could go watch any one you want, you'd be bored stiff. Nothing exciting here.
Is SilFab in the county or is it in the town?
It's in the county.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So they have nothing, no influence on
The town has none.
on that
right?
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you familiar with
Were any of you all at the ladies, the Juliet's luncheon where the mayor spoke?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she made it pretty clear that the council has like -2 power.
in terms of SilFab?
In terms of
anything.
impacting things, of that, and anything that the county council decides supersedes anything the town wants.
Yeah. Yep. But that territory is not in the town limits of Fort Mill. We, Carolina Orchards, is pretty literally the edge, the northern edge of Fort Mill. The neighborhood to the north of us, Regents Park, not in the town of Fort Mill. The stuff on the west side of 21, even like the fast growing trees across the street from us, they're not in the town of Fort Mill.
No, they made sure to annex this before it was developed.
Yeah, I think Pulte a petition to have us in the town of Fort Mill.
Well, I don't know if Koki did, but I'm sure that Miss Close made sure that we were in the town.
Excuse me, Jan. Jan,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jan, did you get the mail? Because I'm at the mailbox.
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, pick up the mail, Shirley.
No, I'm sure Miss Close and her family probably made sure, because this was their land. And so I'm sure they made sure that we were in the town.
I don't see a disadvantage.
Yeah, the Greenway's not in the town, though.
No.
No,
It kind of snakes around a little bit to get to us.
it snakes around Carolina Orchards.
Yeah, our neighbors to the east, just on the other side of the creek from me, and mostly the other side of the creek from everybody. The other side of the railroad tracks, not in the town of Fort Mill. So we're special
No,
up here.
and the firehouse is in Steel Creek.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that? I mean, that'd just be like an unincorporated
so.
neighborhood. Yeah, because I don't think even the Harris Teeter's in the town of Fort Mill.
No,
But if you were to go look at least the last time I looked at Google Maps, let me take a look. The last time I looked at Google Maps, they still didn't have Carolina Orchards included in Fort Mill. But let me take a look now and see if they've gotten themselves updated. Nope, we're still not.
Well, Google has a lot of issues with Google Maps and driving direction.
yeah. I like Waze better.
I agree.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this dotted red line as the perimeter of the town, and not sure how this little connector line works, but it comes up to the Springfield neighborhood, but they don't show us yet. That picture is my lovely wife, Cindy.
Well, that's interesting that Google's so far behind on that.
Yeah,
It took them forever to even get our streets on their maps.
It took them a long time to get the connection on Hunter Road and to stop that from being a connection into Carolina Orchards. And if you ever take an Uber, be sure to let your Uber driver know not to go down Hunter Lane to try to get into the neighborhood, because now it's a dead end, but it's still on the Uber's maps.
I've never had trouble with an Uber finding me.
It could be just those of us that are way up at the northern end. You know, I'm up in Village O, and that would have been the fastest way to get here. But for
But they haven't updated that yet, probably.
Yeah, for anybody south of York Southern, it's not going to show up that way. So, so that one office, the at large, has the two candidates. Lisa Cookley, she's the incumbent. Lindsay Kirby is the challenger. And the mayoral race has two people shown as well. Gwen Savage is the incumbent mayor. A guy named Ryan Helms is on the ballot. There's some question as to whether he's really a serious candidate. He's not doing much in the way of campaigning. He's got a Facebook page that shows some campaigning, but other than that, not very much.
We don't know who he is or anything, right?
Don't know much about who he is. And I put links in the bulletin that I sent out to all of these resources. So if you haven't dug through that, you can see what I learned anyway. And it sounds like nobody else has learned anything more about Ryan Helms. So I don't know. I don't think anybody's a big fan of Gwen Savage. I don't know if he'd be better or worse, or why we would even bother with him.
I think Gwen is terrific. Why is there? What is there not to like?
Well, I don't know. I mean, she's pretty Republican, but again, there's not that much going on at council that is, at least
She's in a
not,
nonpartisan office, and she makes
Yeah.
no bones about the fact that she doesn't care whether it's right, left, up, down, or sideways. Whatever's good for the town is what she's concerned with.
where have you heard from her? Is this like at that Juliet's meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, cool. Because that's more than I know.
Well, she also speaks at Romeo's. You ought to go to Romeo's once in a while.
Don't I have to be single for that?
No.
No, it's the men's club.
Oh, yeah. I don't like clubs.
It's
Well,
just
they
a
have some
meeting.
interesting speakers, so you might try it.
Okay. Well, anyway, those are the two offices that are contested, mayor and at large, and then the two other wards, Ward 2 and Ward 4. Their incumbents are still running, but they're going to be the only ones on the ballot. There is room for a write-in if you have somebody name you want to write in. You'd have to do some campaigning now to make them a viable candidate, but that's it. That's a very small thing for conducting a whole election. So, and that's why they didn't put any early voting over in this area, because it's too small. So again, if you want to early vote, you got to drive to York.
Well, that's interesting since it's a Fort Mill election.
Well, there are elections all over the county that are part of this early voting. So
Yeah, they're all voting except for Rock Hill. They're all voting. Rock Hill is early.
Yep. Has that already happened? Actually, I thought it was early,
Yeah.
Middle of October.
But everybody else, Clover and Tika K and everybody else are all voting at the county center.
Yep. So that's why they're only doing the early voting at the government building in York.
Well, it's expensive to, have all the satellite places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not worth it for this small an election.
Off-year election. Next year will be something else.
Oh my God.
Yep. Next year is going to be, nobody's paying any attention to this election because all of the political oxygen is being soaked up by national politics.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There might have been something on TV news. In fact, there was a little bit on TV news here and there, but not very much. CN2 has had some interviews. Lindsay and Lisa both had interviews on CN2. Let me see what they've gotten. And they were going to do interviews with mayoral candidates, but I don't know if they've done that yet. Let me see.
Well, you have to get CN2 in order to be able to see them.
You can see them on the internet. I'm looking over the page I'm looking at right now is the one, because I had a good link to it, is the one with their interview for Lindsay and Lisa.
So if I go to the CN2 page, I can.
Yeah, let me see if I can find. See if I can find where they're going to do interviews. I'm not seeing anything really helpful. Well, let's look under politics.
There.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's Gwen Savage, and it looks like they weren't able to get an interview with
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
He also ran.
Ryan Helms. It says here CN2 tried several times to set up an interview with Ryan Helms, and apparently I sent a Facebook message to him, and he responded to that. He was going to be out of town at this time. Otherwise, it would have invited him to come talk to us. He was going to be out of town, so. But
You
not
could have zoomed in.
Yeah, not responding to CN2 is pretty disappointing. Let's see what Gwen's got to say.
Stacey Lewis Law Firm.
She's got to say, here's a commercial for Lewis Law Firm.
Skip ad.
You can skip it.
We can skip it now.
Welcome back to CN2 News here in downtown Fort Mill. Beautiful day and with Mayor Gwen Savage. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I love being on Main Street at this time of year, and with the sun shining, couldn't be happier.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the fact that you are rerunning. This is going into your third term potentially as mayor. Talk about why that's important to you.
Well, it's important to me because over the course of the last 8 years, I have found myself asking the question repeatedly, how is that good for Fort Mill? And that question has allowed us to make some very good changes in how we were managing growth. Everything from taking away the R5 designation, which is higher density, to asking for traffic studies ahead of an agreement. And I'm not finished with that work. We have a lot that we need to do to get a better grasp on good growth, and very much would like the public's support in allowing me to do that one more time.
Talk about what's working in Fort Mill, what's not, what you really would like to tackle if you're given the opportunity.
Well, given the opportunity, I would like to say that the council we have today is active, energetic, engaged. They're all put their heart out on the table and are willing to do whatever it takes to make the right decisions for Fort Mill. We have a great staff, even though after the pandemic, hiring people became very difficult on all levels. So I would say that has certainly been a hiccup in the last 8 years to go through a time where everything was shut down, but we continued our services.
What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the community?
It's the concept of growth. You know, growth is a curse and a blessing all at the same time. When you look up Main Street and you see the new businesses and the new restaurants and a lot of fun things for people to do in Fort Mill, that's great. But then you look at the traffic and congestion that comes along with that. Those are always challenges, but I would much rather see us be a vibrant community that everyone enjoys than one that's drying up and blowing away.
Issues, programs that maybe you're most passionate about. What do you put your heart behind?
Oh, I'm so excited about the Master Trail Plan because it will be good for everyone. There is no restriction for age or any challenge. You're able to enjoy that. We will connect all the way to the Mecklenburg County line and over to Riverwalk and Rock Hill so that eventually someone can literally walk all the way down to the coast. So I think that is something that has been a long time coming. Love the new pickleball courts that we've added here in town. There's a waiting line every time. I enjoy the sense of community that Fort Mill has because growing up here and being a third generation native, it has changed. And some things are less pleasant than others. But the core of our community is its people. And I love the fact that there's still so many people that would do anything they could to protect Fort Mill.
Turnout during elections, always an issue. General election, that's not a presidential race. So talk about why people should come out and why they should vote for you.
Well, there's a sense of apathy that I've experienced in the last 20 years of serving Fort Mill that very few people think their vote counts, but it does. And whether they vote for me or not, I want them to vote because that is one of the rights that we have that's truly an honor to bestow by going out and trying to help select the people that will best lead your community. I don't consider myself a better person than my opponent. I wish them all the best because anyone that wants to step up and provide their life to serve the town, they have my heart too.
I'd love to wrap up with a little bit about you because there are new people in the community.
Yes.
We have a lot of turnover, a lot of new growth. So talk about career, family, whatever you want people to know about Gwen Savage.
Well, I grew up here. My grandparents worked in the cotton mills here, so I have very humble but honest beginnings. I worked for Duke Power for 25 years. I have a wonderful husband. I have 3 children, one of which is a councilwoman in Missoula, Montana. The other 2 children here in town. I'm exceedingly proud. I have 5 grandchildren. I love to play tennis. I love to walk the streets of Fort Mill, and I just generally am a happy person.
Mayor, thank you for taking the time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And we'll have much more after this.
text it to you, okay? Okay, Sal.
We won't have much more after this.
Huh?
My
mail.
Didn't you just give me it?
Yeah, you wasn't gonna write the number.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shirley, could you mute yourself, please?
I thought you were giving me the paper. Do you want to throw away the papers?
No, because
Yeah,
I got
okay, I'll.
Okay.
I think I can go ahead and mute her. I think.
Make sure I don't
Yes,
have anything
please.
here of yours. No, it's okay. I don't have any. No.
There we go. She is muted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The power of the host of a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Ooh, very powerful.
Yep. Now she won't be able to figure out how to get back on. So. Okay, so let me make that go away. So that's probably the most I've heard from Gwen Savage pretty much ever. And it's really telling that Ryan Helms, the opponent, could not show up for a CN2 interview. Tells me it's not a serious candidate.
No.
So if you do or don't vote for Gwen Savage, she's going to win by a landslide anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Let's see if there's anything else here that I think is important for understanding this election. I don't think so. Probably a little bit too late to try to do a mail ballot. You might be able to squeak in. I think, we haven't hit the deadline for asking that, but mail-in ballots, which around here they call absentee voting, is it's more a thing you want to plan sometime ahead if you can. Takes a little while to get set up for it. But I think that...
And you have to reapply every year.
Yeah, I think so. Our big advantage is we're all over 65. We all qualify because not everybody can. Although you can come up with excuses. Anybody can probably come up with enough excuses. So I think that's it as far as the election is concerned. It's it's not a big deal. Really, only one office is being seriously contested, or at large. And again, that's Lisa Cook, who's the incumbent, and Lindsay Kirby. Lisa hasn't done vigorous campaigning, probably doesn't think she needs to. Lindsay has campaigned like crazy. She's got a website. She is the only candidate. I mean, even Gwen Savage didn't answer the League of Women Voters for their vote 411. So, and she doesn't have anything out there that looks like she's campaigning. Her website is dead. There's nothing campaign related on her Facebook group. So I think she's just saying, I don't have to campaign.
I've seen some signs with her name and Lisa Cook's on the same sign. So,
okay, that's interesting.
So what do we know about the incumbent in terms of what she's done or what her positions have been on any issues?
We don't know anything because she's, unless someone has been watching her at in city council or in town council, unless anybody has been paying attention to her performances at town council, there's really not much there. This is her Facebook page. She's noticing that we're in early voting. Basically got her her campaign literature sitting here. Okay, so on her Facebook page, she's campaigning a bit.
Find your sample ballot. What sample ballot?
You can get a sample ballot if you go to scvotes, scvotes.com.
Does it have any information in there or statements from the candidates?
No, it
just tells you who they are.
Yeah, essentially, it's what you would get if you when you go. Although because we vote on machine, things will look different. I mean, I can show you how to get a sample ballot. Let's let's go here to scvotes.gov, scvotes.gov, voters, get my sample ballot. And I'm going to take this off the screen because it's going to ask for parts of my social security, but I'll be telling them the county, my name, date of birth, and social. So I'll fill that out while it's off screen. York County. By the way, my birthday was a couple of days ago, so didn't get any presents from any of you guys. I'm disappointed.
Well, you forgot to have a meeting last month to remind us.
Yeah, that's true.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Thank you. I didn't forget I was sick.
Mm.
Okay, so view my sample ballot. Let me make this as big as I can. This is not your ballot. It's a sample ballot representation of the offices and candidates that will appear on the official ballot. And again, it's not going to be much. For mayor, Ryan Helms, Quinn Savage. For Ward 2 and Ward 4, these guys are running unopposed. And then for at-large, Lisa Cook and Lindsay Kirby. And so we're kind of writing off Ryan because he doesn't seem to be a serious candidate. Don't know why he bothered. So really the only thing we're electing is the town as the at-large candidate. And in terms of the actual future of Fort Mill, when I talked to Lindsay, if you go play that interview, she doesn't have a lot of really specific things that she wants to see done. She is unhappy with infrastructure. The town's not spending quite enough money on sidewalks and roads, recreational facilities, things like that. One of the big points that she's made, and here's a question for you guys, is over in Springfield, the neighborhood next door to us, she ran into a lot of neighbors who have never paid for having garbage picked up.
What?
And she questioned the town council about that, and they didn't have a good answer for her. So the town has been losing a lot of revenue from these folks that have never been billed for garbage pickup and probably didn't know that they should have been.
Or they might have known it too.
Well, they might have. I mean, if you're not getting billed for it, unless you're afraid they're going to try to come collect for years of garbage collection that they never billed for, that'd be pretty steep. Anyway, that's one thing she found out, and it's not the most important thing in her campaign, but it's the first thing she talked to me about. And the idea that the town is not following up on that. She has been active. She's gone to town council meetings. She's not somebody that's just gotten one little burr in her bonnet and decided to start yelping. She's been paying attention to what's going on in the town for a while, and then decided she wants to help out and join in. And I have no idea how viable the candidacy is. Like any candidate, she's optimistic, thinks she's got a good chance. So we'll see. So Niall, if you're talking to us, you're muted. If you're talking to someone else, it's a good thing you're muted.
No, I'm talking to someone else.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for noticing, though.
Yep. So I don't have anything. I don't have anything else going on. But at our next meeting, we're probably going to have to figure out if we want officers for next year or even keep on going. I've been real slack in keeping up with the management at Orchards and getting our paperwork and stuff in. I will. I've got requests to follow up on stuff and say, do you guys still exist? Are you still going to do something? And I'll take care of that, I think, tomorrow. I'm a little too tired tonight. I'm wore out. So, but considering that, I mean, we have like 75, 76 people on our mailing list. They all got notified that there was going to be a meeting tonight, and it's our same group of 5 or 6 people that show up. I don't really know what to do.
I have found through the pandemic, there's an awful lot of people that are very resistant to Zoom meetings. I don't get it personally, but.
Because they're just tired of Zoom meetings?
No, they're you know, they want the in-person thing. You know, I'm the opposite. I want to avoid as many people as possible. So.
Yeah. For a good long time, I had avoided the COVID, and then I got it at the end of a trip in July. And then we took another trip in September, and Cindy got COVID at the very end of that. Well, she came down with it just after we got back. She clearly contracted it as part of that trip. I didn't get that COVID, and I didn't even get it for the week that she was active in testing positive, and we didn't do anything in the house to try to mitigate it. I just assumed I was going to get it, but I never did. But I got something else a week later. I kept testing negative, but I had something that really drug me out for a long time, and I'm just kind of barely recovering from that.
Everything that we call the common cold, those are coronaviruses, which is what COVID is.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, the reason they haven't been able to come up with a cold vaccine is because it mutates so often and so radically.
Yeah. And COVID may become the same thing. It may race beyond the ability to have vaccines for it. We'll see. I got my medical degree from Dr. Google. Google University.
That's my daughter's favorite place.
Yeah. WebMD, etc. All right. Has anybody else got something they want to bring up for tonight? Everybody enjoying the Republican circus in the House?
Kind of.
Oh, please. It's calling it a clown car is an insult to clowns everywhere.
Yep. Have you noticed that the York County Republican Party has started putting their meetings on YouTube? They put it up late, but they do put them up if you want to go enjoy. But the Democratic Party doesn't have meetings. They have a quarterly Zoom meeting that they call the Executive Committee, but anybody can come play. But the GOP has a meeting every month, and they started recording them and putting them on YouTube. Which
so does the one at Carolina Orchards. They have a meeting every month.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, they didn't meet over the summer. They did a summer hiatus. So, but what else have I noticed? Oh, our GOP is firmly in control of the MAGA crowd. Our York County GOP is all MAGA all the time. There's a big fun fight going on over in Lancaster County next door. Their GOP has split it into 2 factions, and each one is declaring separate meetings. But interestingly enough, it's not a moderate versus MAGA. It's 2 MAGA factions.
One is more MAGA than the other?
Well, probably each one is complaining to be more MAGA than not complaining, claiming they're more MAGA.
What are the people going to who are all MAGA all the time going to do if Trump is convicted in any of these various trials and is not available to run for president? Well,
they're going to mutiny. They're going to mutiny.
Are they going to stay home and not vote?
We can only hope.
That would be nice.
Well, I know that some of the Trump voters are voting for Kennedy, they said,
Let
because
them.
of his stand on vaccines.
Let them. As long as it takes away a Trump vote, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think they're going to be undeterred. Trump could be convicted and sent to jail, and they're still going to vote for him. And
that's what the polls say.
Yeah, and
they said he'll rule in the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, and there's nothing in the Constitution that would prohibit that.
Well, a town in Florida, Sunrise, Florida, voted for a man for mayor while he was in jail for political corruption.
Yep.
Oh, do you see his campaign committee always gave out free bagels and lox and cream cheese every Saturday and Sunday morning at all the big condos. And so everyone voted for Mayor LaMello.
How can he serve if he's in jail?
Well, I guess his campaign committee did his stuff for him, but he was still mayor.
Yeah. The same with Trump. They can't find it. Well, some legal scholars say that they don't think it can happen. Other legal scholars say there's nothing specific.
Well, isn't there something in the Constitution that says that he's not allowed to run if he's convicted of a felony?
No.
No,
only insurrection.
Only if he's convicted of insurrection or aiding and abetting insurrection.
Hello.
Well, there's a problem with that. The Constitution doesn't specify how you determine that he has done that. They put that provision in the Constitution back at the end of the Civil War, when what they were basically trying to get rid of was Confederate candidates. And it was easy to tell back then because they were elected in the Confederacy. So you could tell that they had been an insurrectionist because they were a Confederate leader. But ever since then, that particular part of the Constitution has been pretty well ignored. And and now it seems to be viable, but how do you determine that someone has been guilty of an insurrection if you don't go through a court and convict him, and he's not being charged with that in any of the dozens of indictments?
Well, with Meadows getting immunity today, that's going to be that's going to change something.
Is he the latest to get immunity?
Yes, Mark Meadows has been granted immunity by Jack Smith.
Only because he's going to give some testimony.
Of course.
Of course. They don't give it away.
They don't give it away.
Yep. Well, they're falling like flies now. The dominoes are falling.
Yeah. It only took one or two, and then the rest of them said, well, like the guy who was supposed to have a trial with Sidney Pyle. Okay, so she says, I'm going to cooperate and I get some misdemeanors out of it. So this other guy is looking at a huge prison term. Hello. And by the way, the money to pay for their lawyers has dried up.
Yeah, that's why Jenna Ellis flipped today too. She said she was duped by all those lawyers that had more experience than she did.
Well, there won't be 16 trials now. It's slowly coming down.
It's slowly getting down. I would expect some of the fake electors to go next.
Yeah, that's probably what Fonnie Willis was counting on when she said, let's do them all at once in one trial, because she knew it wasn't going to be 19 people. She knew it would be down to 5 or 6 by the time all of the...
At most.
Yeah.
And
it'll be interesting if Trump's ego will allow him to make any kind of a plea deal or anything like that.
No, he never does anything wrong.
Right.
He relied on advice of counsel.
Mm-hmm. That he fired if they didn't tell him what he wanted to hear.
That's right.
Well, picky. But I mean, if he says advice of counsel and the counselor saying, no, we didn't advise him of that, I don't know what's going to happen.
Depends on the jury.
Huh?
Depends on the jury.
Depends on the jury.
Hmm?
Bye
right.
now.
Well, that's fun. We can all go back to watching CNN or MSNBC and see what happens next.
Do the news mix if you have the news mix on. This way you can switch from one to the other. Sometimes I even get onto Fox when they have somebody that sounds normal.
What?
Not too long, but they give another perspective sometimes that hasn't been too bad. But and there's a group on MSNBC that I don't know. They're too much. They're blaming Israel for the war, and they're a bunch of Arabic. They're Arabic.
I would put a lot of it in Netanyahu's pocket, but that's besides the point.
Right.
And Netanyahu, they should throw out when this is over. He dropped the ball.
Yes.
Well, they've several people within Israel have said now's not the time to get rid of him, but as soon as this is done, he's out.
Right. He's exactly right, because he was so busy keeping himself out of jail that he killed all these people.
Yes.
Well, do you see a commonality there with Trump?
Oh yeah, that's his brother. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Brothers by different mothers.
Yeah, best buddies.
Did you hear the Trump speech in which he mixed up Hungary and Turkey?
No, I missed that. Darn.
No, he praised Viktor Orban as the Prime Minister of Turkey. And instead of Hungary, and he was talking about Turkey, and he started talking about Orban, and it was really ridiculous. And if they say Biden makes misstatements, I think Trump belongs in the home already.
Belongs in a loony bin.
There's several folks on Twitter who claim to be psychiatrists or psychologists that have said that his dementia is increasing daily.
Trump says?
Who, Trump's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that he's losing. He never was the brightest bulb in the room, but that as time goes by, he is dropping the ball more and more and more with verbal faux pas and rages, like a lot of people in early Alzheimer's do.
Well, by 2024, he should be in full bloom.
Oh,
Let's hope. But that won't stop people like my brother and my brother-in-law from voting for it.
Yep. Well, we've all got family members deep in that mire. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna call it for the meeting unless somebody else has something that they desperately want to bring up.
Thanks for having a meeting. I enjoy talking with y'all.
Yeah, I'll try to be back for the December meeting. I've had a few conflicts, and then last month just not feeling good, but we'll keep trying. And I have been recording this for YouTube. Does anybody have an objection to me putting it up on YouTube for any of our group? That
Wait, I gotta put my makeup on.
Too late. We're all done. All right, everybody, wave goodbye to the YouTube audience.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Stopping the recording.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay.